Alungin lita since elalsin sa katangara asa satellite office ra olvira klulaw ngara bluro orior elalsin sa August 26, 2025 1:18 p.m. Tianga meeting ra Senate 12 olvira klulaw ra Senate Committee ra Ways and Means and Financial Matters Lawanggela Ministry of Finance el gira la fiscal year 2026 el budget. Para domo la invitation ng Ministry of Finance di domlongan tangatas wala tangak President Whips General Meeting makapagam tangak President ra Republic of Belau surang Whips Junior welcome Mr. President. Malungin itasin sa mga atam director sa Ministry of Finance. Ang artial meeting lawang general on behalf of Senate ang arinya tangak Senate President Hawkins Baules. Vice President ra Senate Dr. Stevenson Cuarte, floor leader, Vice Chairman na committee, Senator Garay Mariul. Mo introduce ra record members mo yun trawlan mo ra Minister of Finance mo kung makakadomo ra right side ng niya tangkal Senator Lencer Basilius, Senator Brian Malayre, Senator Mason Ngiri Abangan Whips, Senator Taps Kasugi Sungino, Senator Andrew Tabalwan, Senator Salvador Sadoy Talam, tangkal Senator Teacher Imru Ramangsaw. Yang nga Margo Orbulaw Rudim, and mo conduct ra meeting lo panggila Vice Chairman Garay Mariul, artial meeting gila la FY 2026. Amok artial meeting Mr. President, atim na sama mal mo find out la information gila la gan numbers nodar sa logyo FY 2026. Mula modar sa House in May, hindi gidirek mo siya kay gali report maro ko yung while that time to mal dil medro sisi ma version na president sa president version na kaw makamamaulang itra te alal rong siya Ministry of Finance justified tial budget dahil tang ang ngalakra 3 million may gele allocation raw daw madre kanya information will give them request will give la PGST allocation or PGST. Yang nga niya gilbibin information na blem submitted ansin sa gira la balance of accounts ay gili contract terms and conditions ra other government. Sel kil daw law le ko nga kunito mawai sakti tagal adam ng artial sumangkaw ya mo conduct ringi on behalf of Ministry of Finance. Mo all justified tel budget FY 2026. Tiya ulma gyong itangi del Mr. President ay gal 12-12-1 matiagi del FY 2026 ako counterpart ra olvira glulaw ra Senate akmula seng between phone calls mala informal meetings they felt la segal numbers are justified hindi ako Senate side ako Philip mula seng giral bekla adal dong Auckland erong siya sila Ministry of Finance murut ay galurior mga sisil information marokula adan deka dil nga chairman malubang minister adan mang kaya nga public information mangwila da share ita kanya share da sa siyang makaradang mo ringin for the betterment of the republic with that deka so president talube vice floor gunite ko Michael yildele gora ka Mr. President maradam ito mo meeting ringin sulang.
Vice Chairman Rudim, Vice Chairman Mariur, Marbekal President of Senate, Vice President, Marbekal Senators. Kita ang arterial alsilsel deka Minister of Finance, mga arterial Minister of Finance. Dira lor tira karsel babalingem Chairman Rudim, lulingit tayo information almlay mga ang nga nagiblang submit ra August 15, yung na follow-up letter mang ay gidal kimuldar sa real sales. Mga artila mga real sales sa mamurtial klita to Emerald May, nga niya Director Gail Rangil, nga Director gidara Treasury, National Treasury. Arbitari, Elway Igeda, nga Director gidara Tax. revenue and tax. Next to me, former minister, compact negotiator lang director of budget and planning, Mr. Udoy, Sairong, Rongulbay, nabayama, nga mamang ramam. Anyway, nga director gidra human resource. So igel mle gere chairman mle Ministry of Finance aladim lo hit tiger rogul el bureau magada milgali ma trial director merel al sils triang artial mul mongera ngi dil gerel kami asomil el momdenge di ruera adbora ger mangere edi biska gatel makora di meskida kora overview ra budget the bura igel detail adam. So gida mdenge lo se tell overall budget rel al ragara 2026 152 million. If you look at the previous year's budget tekadmil sa ra 130 some million. Mang gadra mesya se tiamal limi se clol budget. Of course I got tuir raigel gido ames raseng meso is beludo el dolab e kada balance and make sure aigel el meso is ba atter aigel domoit. Mang sulang lo aigel details mang of course the directors as in artiang yoger and there's probably two major increases ra budget and maklo. One kita serada pas ra budget tertial nombre garraka 2025 imlani sel 10% el increase in mora regula de lora government. Masaya including a state government kita if you look at the budget the increase a budget ra state government by 10% ma national across the board will accommodate or sell 10% el increase ra a salary. Ongerung sel tara do maranil toka kasi gira del stat el pay down aigel taseng loan er gidel ngarbaba interest rate ri angaramong sera algo tremaiga toka raiga loan sel Federal Reserve rate ramliga ramlario sel SOFR amle almost zero. Hindi kita madaya sa tiyam lang malangak mga lakra ewal basent masel most raiga loans rigidrel al time are between 5 and 6% interest rate. Daita aigel pesa loan dollar ADB at maski del 1%. So idea was kada mala aigel 1% the loan pay off aigel 5% the loan. So te awal gotel partners aigel mga isel 7.5 million dase medungul retire aigel baby aigel el ya obradal el belset and we have other suggestions. Will chairman of part fund balances. I think in close to trouble I say we have ngaria reserves are and something that we need to consider not only addressing pension because we believe some of that should be used to supplement the planner to address the pension issue, but some of it should also be used to pay down debt. Expensive debt. Gida by mutro yitra ADB, other loans at 1%. Let's say for energy or for other things, we get those and keep on converting. So basically, sell what pesel palasira ADB, I get pesel loans or top. If we can justify what climate change, energy, all of those things, we can get them at 1%. And 1% versus, of course, 5, and we say 4% right off the bat. 4% 100 million is $4 million a year. So, the share say say overall share singer tial budget, and there's I get letters kam lesson del me chairman and this all mutakra process. Gida sera first regular session or July, yadamle submit a budget tergid. Sel annual budget tergid. The adultera process is April 15 rabe karak. Igel performance report Amer olbira kalulaw. In fact, mlarselera ko makradi helpful informer apeklad mo will understanding. I get performance report ang area shared drive that they are stored in. Send del mora olbira kalulaw present ra Senate mas Speaker House, which were received on April 15. Tara ula kadol top da performance report tra April 15. Amsa olbira kalula time el kola hearing aska each ministry me ogera question man dekabol last minute do about it tuang budget. So just for future next year ensemble isa ko say a process every year rather budget submit ngar olbira kalulaw ngaria receipt that you received them on April 15. So you've had them akdi share say it. So ndeka gim delay, they were on time. Agidiregal acknowledge or say naregel total information that you ask and were submitted on August 15. They were about a week late, but I think in time for your deliberation or a budget. First sell fund balances. Selgor hotel was assessing regel wasing fund balances as of July 31st. As of July 31st. That gives you a fund balance of about 70 million. The regal commonly request I get list I get a whole position or government or a salary. I give me submit to say August 15. Elal sales I give by direct was since I'm direct ask I gal trigger role over 50,000. I give direct include the list I get salaries or other dirangara olbira kalula sorry executive branch olbira kalulaw plus the judiciary because gira the lomits are government, so we gave you all of those. Kadiregal mils kami alis tera ayel trial tira ngara a contract or local hire and other grants. The mils kami alis tera ayel investment tira ad sales and I think sell dirigal close to trail mamasri sell list ayel rogul بالسل بيلاو غريجل داسين direct البلالسل غريلا قبل ما تربيلاو I think منديك دريقل ما include أيجل دريقل وال البلسلة PPUC so نسيت لو مسر أرنغلل تيال بلالس and then included in that ngotil wasing ngaral percent at the harari regal loans so Aquí diregal le submit regal I get rogul non-lapsing wal tilo bodol el girela aureor el kadana appropriate non-lapsing funds so my get rogul grants el non-lapsing so gidregal le submit a list regal travel ang area local travel ang area grant travel ang area federal mang le ngopengel ay rogul kondim le diregal me request aigel wal el harawa national government el mora PPUC mang igel total bills rigidra aigel ang regal erudrak el PPUC actually yeah 23 24 and part of 25 diregal qadamle maskami ari qord el bills kida PPUC raigel wal credit raigel solar el kida ngar bebula high school mangara parinatra airport everywhere so raigel solar credits that are listed there diregal bills kami breakdown or let's say yellow expenditures or government ngwa igang ang telariya kang gesteria PGST mle telal PGST ria al peringa government. So that's also there. Dirigal al losabed al maskamia a breakdown a PGST the collector selasis baklan ngamlan. Gire lagal construction materials and of course general merchandise. Dirigal obangel se dirigal PGST belharania PPUC, PNCC ma BSCC. Dirigal obangel se igel الريفاند مالوبن كده credits الولا because the diplomats, the foreign governments, so they get credits. Yang ari tiruk pel over, sira alsis, yang song sa seller tirmong, they get credits back. So yang ari reporting. Dirial nga rin igel exemptions. Mostly igel exemptions ra PGST nga rin personal. Dirial, of course, igel government wa mar sold down. Siya abay klon nga rin say. And then I get mlebes request ga chairman gililut maskme breakdown or I get trigger rogul employees nga ga rogul agency ra government I get tira ududira over 50,000 alangara contract tangara local hire the I get kakarus el breakdown and of course self-response sa kamli gira legal performance budget. Dimle sokal diragal ngutial teal oras modi kita amdengil waseng really tia sel dosodra budget tergideng gangestera au asisabelel maulspela au dodra blur belaw. Mangarigel betogal sedra seng policy decisions and ding impact au dodra blur belaw Egdilera budget regdombola sen close to trela ada address. So self first nara ayosang al dulsa adri egidam dingelo ase for the last 3 years egdamle al bangar sel proposed amendment el bilskida SS ma committee luror sel recommendation el girela sabaklela SS edera action el girel mang amle proposal ase at least edung at talgi bersel mle proposal SS SS amle sorry 9% kida amle proposal ase at least edung at talba kasambol 8% dirigal lunito ase namo time adjust the retirement age kida sedal malmol malwa ase arada digay makmadan the reality are others are living longer sel gotol al bangled ada donle ase al sum de kada sa clear SS en sen mo kosok sara future mo alel tial pension el kita albangari mang of course a version amle waisel mora house amla tabdi dik tirigala mutel no litra senator asem lutro mesri entara igel gira del address el issue la gada address ring gada allungri di allungri de gada sel toram riga say we keep on kicking the can down the road we have to make changes. Kita dirigalunita se look approval process rapiwa. We ask for changes to kada sumaklim mo beotrigid. Of course, amlari selon tidel lomda sortriel dimla president. Malubat the president roasen degadil lola stipend del 8 years el asel ngalakar say. Sel ngarala arela nga di wal limit real stobra 8 years a suggestion ase until el bolser kadiregal lulungitro ase sel udawdara alcohol and tobacco taxes ngumti sel restriction ang aring ilgirela or spare al sel healthcare fund. Ligidam da se healthcare fund that take care igal bla referral and they need the money al continue al take care trigal ngara referral. Sel el tara la klong al sel tiang sel longit lo aseng namo time el domesa igel el labor permit. A labor permit, actually, there was one time I'm let $250, kada ba imla reduce mo $150 a year tegidral al waisera ira alme. Amoktegra igal labor permits. If you know, I said rungulo ludo da galactini igal labor permits, amora scholarship. In fact, other scholarship relalsil se Senator Tabluale to say for this year mlamo the highest number of scholarship recipients. Lamo 260 so tamlo miraw do de ewal triple ang song sel lo miring tanaw to kanang. So kasi ngil te al relal gida man proposal gida sum 300 te don mo 900 or sel 150 ra don mo 500. What we're proposing is we need to amend the cell el FIRA labor permit sa clear gida umra sing insel moklo something is better than nothing. So gunito sa kamo mesringi en close to trail el gira la angya insel del maigel udo del helper ang algedel tadi na school madri ang artero sigawrior area program gira WIA insel del expander sig del program diregal kita namtigini lo sa one of the challenges that we have igal grant outside selame in soril by mora NGO a picrigal al time NGO it's easy for them to get money directly as an NGO by medangay sell $5 el de go domle allocate real mortir you can send it back by labora pension airport or whatever you decide, but or come back into the general fund. The idea was don't member those pairing. Kita say that's big a grants, and they are much more willing to fund our wapi ma igal restra agencies, el nia NGO. Kita at time sa pikriga 400,000 a year as a direct assistance. So diregal sel dungura tokora procurement el al time HR wala ngora like contract services I say mang adim le suggestion o sekale lungil dungu sel ngaral el me partera ngara la Ministry of Finance house out to be but a suggestion o say maybe to help streamline our process Aigel baby la kora di mle editing til vehicle registration fees or editing actually mura state together as mura national treasury may get the minor changes. I think the other thing el gida direct also the update members el girela Vice President Quarte ul magigal mura Washington DC another ablu amrigel amla secures el 20 million and they're ready to give it to us. Ding a requirement of reforms el girel mora pension. Tara reform ligya drulia girel romesra age ra retirement. Se de al stop girel sense retire 15 retire 40 ding girel adjuster tial retirement lo alari. De al se mlara full retirement tra 50. Plan. So we have to have a system in place. It'll make sense. So me first requesting a pension and mergido ase. I get some clear morotela retirement rather than pension. Adi through regulation a pension as el gut mokla. The cell one al ngaral sel alla al gida gut mokli. Cell state mandatory retirement age 65. El al time was 60. So cell reach a 60 other el al time. Kadam luz el mora pension askir te sem continue lolmol mangala dolor el al sil sen ala creer dart el adra gabalment am lang ala krira a 60 kita dimlu sa mga pension sa extend. Ese ligato sa kita extend twice after ang erul time kita extend dekal sa extend lang lakar say. Mang kita mga say we need people kadong songs. It's time that we address the retirement. And pension has to pass those regulations and amend the reforms that are required. And I think with a little help, 20 million plus some of the money that we have in the reserve funds, and so they'll help start pension of the three maybe less than 15 years, buy them out and move them on to a 401k. Igida mo albang article rest other nga sa system kada take care tir. Mang sige ta kora the first step we have to address the age issue. Assume if we don't have the guts to do it, then it's never going to be done. But yeah, lago to klol ngaral and it requires a other bill to take action algirel. Lastly, tiadi simple toy kita say a basic work week 7:30 to 4:30. Adeka obviously open al time ra 7:30 by namo 8 el mo 12 el mo 1 el mo 5, but adeka blugul da say mandatory work there 7:30 to 4:30, but our other household to the more of an edit among the mesam kat makli Chairman, nakamal di mo nga sulem le umarar sel togol wasa gira del transparent gira del open al morar club isira chairman waiga ang goto sa mga durar director le director wala ba information degal giril el madakt el mga adu answer ang idil question. Okay, so kan mastriate al mo kumagira gero question el mortir gidang artial supporter tir is minister tir di tira ang artial mul answer ang idil question lang ang adilas rebok tali at yagid kita madayon wasa igil audit reports are behind for two reasons. One, COVID ang irong sel Deloitte and Tusha Mirael magdamlo hire Ernest & Young, and there's a delay. Sera the negotiator compact, and I'll just share with you. Ito dilo say a year audit cost amna mga rela government terbelaw. If you notice 2025 budget, we didn't put an amount in the girela audit. And right now, in Albangara 23-25 audit that we have to pay for. And of course, we're going to have to pay for 25. So, amount audit say, if they double it, then we'll want another 785,000 because that's what it costs per year. Nutul edring. Why say, director? Maybe you can share. So, just give us enough monies to cover audit, pay them and keep them going. Sell idea every 6 months at the finish and more catch up. And so we need to be able to pay them. And I think that's one of the challenges. And in similar ask our treasury, I know they've hired more staff. Gimla Rigela interior adiregal mutal help through another grant will help a treasury mutal hire additional staff will help more every 6 months or top of the audit. So ideally 2 audits in 1 year. Okay. So kita rela wadi tu laigel. Aigel information dola berelang adi wadi tu laigel lol toba a treasury. I know saying some you sell certified audit. That's what we're using now. Yeah. Okay. Sulang.
Mr. President, surang Luips Junior kamam saura kamen sa kau. Aktually kami lang asulam Mr. Tela damat tabo mamimok kal mga adu di blatak ligala tokol buay. Ak gidam nat makloro ak agel hearing and murura before adala kamran maktukod maldi transira bet government trigid. So in that spirit and kada dire kan So that make sure that other local tell government kita mo say what's going on. Makam sulang kita directors lo reng so say lemimok kan mga du el lakan magras melo esel mula sa ngarangar ni manangani aswela all will help lang southern mesawal wadal mongil kita direct longit tiak lunga budget 152 our tuira funds availability analysis actually longit Mr. President malubang adam malo ngara artel FAA maldirek al beskida overview ra FAA lo sing marwang tetelel sulang.
Sulat chairman ang ngwila kamle bring up FA di sokal chair was ang namo 4 years el dangara government ti amo mongoyem el budget ta doruri edre tal umsana FAA ma qora dolito ase maybe this can be the first year el president trasena ta mas speaker abol il sana FAA mu podol tirak karsel ni al udlo ase kada follow FAA di am de lo ase FAA tuira so that's FAA funds availability analysis. Multuira igel ngia arogul sisabele laudod el meso isbra am trablur belau. Ega ultuira igel domral wasen sedel gorger irtial mara el merrak. Asedel mulwaisi. Mesel momeser sel el budget el giblem submittery engani sel page lo ase FY 2026 funds availability analysis. Borser first line en area de lo hacen revenues. El msadra 121 million en ara general fund. Emrogo en momsadra special revenue 7 million. Momsadra 12 million el debt service. Top der seguido ludod en regel dasen unrestricted ma restricted. Agel unrestricted el revenue maluing general fund dergid age motmage 86 million. May say sel dasen unrestricted en ngarisel attachment lo bangel sel dasen general fund etia ngarisel fuel tax ngaria gross revenue tax, ngaria PGST, ngaria business profit tax, ngaria salaries and wages tax, hotel occupancy tax, departure fee, general import, alcohol and tobacco tax, of course, and penalties and others. Direct ngaria igel vessel day scheme, igel kida malala katadal sel P&A, ship registry, igel foreign labor fees, igel revenue mangara post, igel revenue mangara airport, ma port rigid, no se nada gangar dollar in airport, hindi mostly in the airport. Digital residency fees, igel make up sel dosing general fund and igel restricted man unrestricted. Kita muna say for example, igel tax ramlay, igel restricted. Tax igel sel tax ra PPF mga igel allocation al boring mang so madabora dite igel amount presente lang masel total unrestricted seguid el 76 million no say I'm sorry 96 million. Kita mo direct kami sa ngari geludo del dollar compact. So ngari udo del sel 20 million, ngari udo del 15 million plus el 10 million el kita malaringil el payoff ablal. So that's an additional 40 million. And then ngari sel 7.5 million el kita ulbara IDB. Ay kita motmak elulitel wal arangala ayosang angargit relarak. Yeah, so I think Chairman Achumaria detail like on a particular revenue or you have a question at the board say. Okay.
Ma'am Solo, Mr. President,
Ya direktora tax sa material ang artem silen sir. Sulang.
Director Tax, Director Mimokol mo champion help para discussion Sa local revenue, Mr. President, el sabi na summarize a projection ra growth, no sa ngarangal category, yung literal million mo kumunsis spring FY 2026. Kung di nga local revenue, sell unrestricted fund. Sell ko fala self-explanatory restricted rudo, the ADB loan na 7.5. Mukomos model local revenue got, kasi tela the gain ring for the forecasted for FY 2026. E wala mo model sa ADB loan, no sa ngaramang source ra 12-1, kung may mo maruringin mo source ra FY 2026. Awlaw le ako, Mr. President.
So sel ADB loan adim nakados peringir FY tel nombre karak. Well, din nakados peringir alalir. Makados by those peringir for next year. So that's why really mo source are next year and we're not using it this year. Ora ngari na proposal sa kada Marara embassy and do those other things. Tamle decide ra sa kada save. So we've said let's use it to pay down debt. So that's for the 7.5. Kung atel sa Elway, bolsa da igel changes in revenue sada. Sulang.
Sulang itsin malungil dita silsen mera akaw ma at ang President ra Senate ma Vice ma floor leader ma Bekla at the overall gida o mesra growth tel overall economy kada dili kam nomre kan mesa 12% growth makadam tabal basing sil lolomol ma kada maral mong kada anticipate ra additional tourism, additional economic activity, additional construction activity lang nga igal uk fiscal space will create a compact. So overall kada mesra conservatively about 6 to 7% growth. Igal next 2 years. Sedia kal igal sel moments igal tax projections. Tax projections sa di kadasal maldingungal for now. Hindi mo na kadasal dingungal overall growth itong will apply. Leng kadirigal sel doral mong imo to ka information ol dolay lang ta ongedel rakar gidelo lola igal beset tax to kunia PGST. Manggal UPSL rate ra salary kadiri kalome sa projections ra employment talwasing budulger. Of course ng aringil overall songgel PGST amil sang kadap mong exponential growth leng nguramle sel year after year ang hindi kal double digit growth ringi. Makadiri kal
Mr. Elway, kalom daw si year-on-year growth sa man direkal especially for a year. Mansung sa 12% growth, nung sa 12% growth lang aral year. On what year?
I see.
Man. By the way, Mr. President, giayamara Senate Cell performance reports. According to the clerk, ang Comral Amnesen ringin, di sel fala idan corrupt, wala man klam madas will open ringin. They didn't follow up, man sabel and dura daman to resend ringin mera. Senate, nagaliga performance report. Sula.
Okay. So this one mas mo overall economy. Sell the measure GDP. GDP sell wal arang alel aklisi el ageizer ablul belal maran moklo. For 2024, growth rate, real growth rate. Sell the saying real and inflation adjusted was 12%. Kita expect sale was saying this year ang ilmutal masa ara 8%. Aigal revenue collections are they adjusted for inflation. They're based on actual numbers. So akti sokal the premises say and then cover breakdown aigal changes.
Look to clarify sa GDP lo sa commeasuring lo giwa GDP yung nakla real is compared to what?
So sel da say real GDP and sel one uchira imoklo real sales compared del mora 2019. say malsum kada compare LLC sen mura 2019 as a fixed number. Ele ngal $1 maral mo gigare value ra bekarra. Seroral mo gigare value sell real value ra $1 na mo dakal $1 na mo 85 cents. Misel o measure lo saying mlamo dalat 20 cents. Imda sing ilas ralu ilbasent ese dekal real. Ngiram lu usem ro minus sel wal ngasa klela ra la ng oklo. Mang sel real kada minus sel wal ngasa klela ra la ng oklo. Emor sel maral wal ngasa klel aklungel ageizai. So sel real growth am let true merul basent. Ra 2024 kada expected al 2025 الموت المسرة 8%. Sengora se ukti economic explanation of GDP. Dia elwe uk mamsadra agel uk. In economic terms, nominal agel actual dollars el bleda collect. Dia kalau sadra ane uchiringi compare than mara 2019, sadra sel actual number that we collected. Okay? Ma growth rate trim sula.
I said, Chair, sel talong 24 or more 25. For taxes and 12% growth. But the project similar rate for 25-26. Nigel Dilo President dirigal by Malmarang dirigal by uspe actual historical figures. It was saying estimate average forecast revenue next year. Atara PPF dirigal give close percentage dirigal base projected arrival numbers. But it is conservative. I think the project was FAA based 70,000 arrivals for FY26. Al factor wage and salary tax. I got wage push policy 10%. Pero Sira 24 and 25, 14% increase overall wages, and then a corresponding 14% growth salary rates tax. But the calculate on a similar projection, was saying, because mo estimate a projection of wages, and then we'll do the same on the collection.
Kala di compare 25 and 26. I'm sure Chairman of concern kasi mo enough for the karngira 26 el kapera igel domda processing expense. Kadi de bora igel list igel karosel tax. Sel de bora fuel excise tax. Kita waise mrila alum kada continue trail concern they had expect rangi dil grow a fuel excise tax. Selo bora business gross revenue. The expect to segal ngariam gigalet shobal attributable increase at the GRT. That's why there's a 13% increase there. Kado Mr. Sel PGST. Kado expect maybe 11% growth. Kado expect number of tourists el masa maudidira arada el masa. I just give you an idea. Sel bora salaries and wages tax. Kado expect salaries and wages tax revenue to increase by 16%. Sel hotel revenue tax mga expecting increase by 16%. Legada expect to increase mga expect sel PPF to go up by 23%. Sel abay ko to close increase ngara sel tiang sel vessel day scheme. Sel ulang tribal masa blue ramrigera finally tamla agree sel 60 million tira perin mora Pacific rogir. So sengari sel blingal el bela lang al sel about 2.5-3 million. Masagida awuli kada projector sel fishing day في sel vessel da scheme masa. And then we are hoping shipping registry will continue to grow. Hopefully sell reach 2.5 million el Aya oram le maclod changes.
Sabihin mo small diesel collection ra PGST. Kami dibs kita daita history ra growth ringira 23, 24, mela 25, ma projected ma 2026.
So sir FY23 qdul mula sa dimle 3 quarters el PGST ma collection na dimle nga 17.5 million. Sira accessible mura FY24 the first full year engle 27 million. Then kados silis bra 25 loba project el wasay mabdula 29 million collection na PGST. Hindi tilo regel first 2 quarters. Ikadam mil samal sale first quarter amle exceed ra a collection. Mendimle by third quarter ikadang 99% ra collection or sale targeted del 29 million. Ya third quarter ikadam lang 28 million. So kadam le revise ra projection el anticipate ra awan na sale el mini games revise projection upwards el mo 30 mo $38. Actually 35 net, why say 35 million.
Sel projection Mr. Elwecheng gross adang net ra
La sel nga ra FAA 38 gross kita project ra 2.4 refund, so yeah 36 awan the expected net collections.
Aldo Vice Cuarte.
El director sel FAA دبر سيد الغنيسل سيد الجنرال فاند غنيسل goods and services. This all understand the سيد الواسي budgeted amle 32,773,000. Page page 3 or
Why say so sira
mergo sel actual June dori 2025 kadam la collect 30 million 30,474,000, which is 93% their sale collection. So basically maybe end the second quarter kadam la collecting almost. This all of it was sell end the fourth quarter. Let's say collect 50 million. Moral percentage sell 50 million payout ring.
Refund?
Yeah, refund as a percentage.
So sira so why say sell mabis FAA ngaringi sell amount el budgeted ngaringi sell tatong concession na lobeng refund. Di kung di maklat kar ada gigil wagil lo president lo say every time so mga nga incidental so akong bali malong siopaya pay PG steel clor sel blel collect ringi sel blel charge ringi employ mo nga credit ringi is it credit alobal offset igel taxel ra future and after 2 months ng namasab el refund say awan segida normal incident nga refund. So usually means alwasay as you buy dim lang almega udod or also mang retail ling multisibagi karera blel spending or also mang construction man mil ara construction materials rule lavla dira ka charge so sige dawan main al scenario o sisilta mang ngegel guk luuda kada malmol mal anor extend the privilege sa mga diplomatic mission sa mga diplomats sa tigal sa litang artiang so usually selbel tura import ang sabay del exempt ng government at charge and the selbel tul mga domestic purchases ya rule awasay tamuhara ma receipt and make the refund so sige dawan ra so sige del number luwasay concessions ma refund arang lang like gidel scenario so the refund payout payback out masige del number senator represent refund the payout ringi
So kami the sell 30 million sell actual as of June 30. Saying include IGL YL exempted sell total amount June 30 sell 30 million.
so why say ela 30 million na gerokul vlada collect and the illegal exempt port usually hindi ka collect the off and the 30 million sell arang let sell do blat tungi sell sige del 1.5 sell the refund out ringi
1.5 million.
why say in fact the sell one the submit ringil mira committee by the illegal actual numbers
Yeah.
ra FY 23 ma 25 will represent refund
Sulo.
Rala open. Yeah, questions come Senator Mangsawng.
Sulay, Chair, Mr. President, Madam Sular, telte alam no si Edel may makadaabang liyok kanya candid discussion. Kabsulan no toucher sel tukora debt management. Ako lingit dia ka kura formal document tel gimo bang. Kuro ay sila setia gida debt management strategy rigid. O ye kamlo mas ay gel kura bek padengel la teletal. Di ko lingit telo sila nga ringa mera committee il algib albang rabat set tel blakatak kalwa setia gida debt management strategy rigid. Tia gida klugela debt ceiling rigid ay gida belset. Tia gida tetele labot ko about retire ay galblals. Akbadenge kablo mas ay gida bebil mungungil. Di ko lingit tel bol nga ringa formal document telo banggel tiang. El may informer kamam red algib deliberate budget. O ngerung kadamdengel was part fiscal reform rigid. Ang direkal girel nga rin ako budget summary or budget report. Lobanggel tial kora budget. Daitang kora diyo ay silwasing ay gagida priority rigid. Ay gagida mlos edrugut bok, ay gagida diak. Ay gagida silis, ay gagida rin laudod. Mendirek telgu kora helper kamamra tiya gida process. Lekadam dengan lo tara requirement tial compact. Ay gagida negotiator ng artiya. Ay galudo dola, diak ditada ludo. Ay ga grant. Mga rin sel tingil gira dal mo report. Mura bulura Miguel. Yung dengan lo diadala namle March 1st. Magira was report na mga tmok. Ablal mga tmok lang il sharing il May. Direct el bodo mesling. Ay ge direct el mo ay sila siya gal ludo al bagar el aldo sa. Ay gang sa edal mo access and there. Ma
Yeah, I get the report kaltmok. So if you haven't got them, we will share with you. We'll question them. No problem. We'll share the reports. Agim present ra Washington sir agibong. Sulang Senator Quartel Marcelo Bangamam, but I think it's appropriate to share ang committee as a whole.
Sula, Mr. President. Adira kaltang amletra agim discuss ringia sel 2.6 million MSP. Se dodangel waseng tul mes ringira budget rigid leather rack. El arrag gadabdingel waseng dekal ngara alsel. Question na wase gadamil sabadangel sel udo del mesois mo kadangilu al uben der. Leng goram no ringa question na kamam wase tial udo deng kadamaral mlangun dia ka report ta dira kal makatmok tiang girel gir. Gigi dia gora amleso mamel mo madangay. Imeswa hospital te al chere gora di clarify gigi.
Sel Blue Prosperity plata receive 7.8 ay le awards the 3 years. Kada na receive ro la report amla momre kita na accept ro expenditure report rigid. Thank you.
DLR 2025 and yeah, last stop.
Manuel suelve presidente kom tiral adami. Sero mo sa tal igel report el blem submit el mera chairman yung sa no sa igel tax exemptions la dire kan include a refund ako ra digri ko se sel me tax exemption el mortial solar company sing kadimil gramo ngi ya kung sa gin na misala and ka la authorize ra Government malu Ministry of Finance and mo authorize sa igil tax exemption el mortial solar company, which is a Tial Solar Company, a private profit corporation. Mga segi da ko di gerlo sa mil garang mo so isi berengi dim na kadang taxel man sum muak lungel ang ral taxel awa bler ge dal galek te dal galek.
Okay. Harak sa kay level hindi ko tong history sulak.
Vice Chairman, when President Whips took office and I was confirmed as minister during his first term, one of the projects that was ongoing was the solar project in Babadab. The company was still was delayed because of COVID, and they were still putting up the project. And they came to Ministry of Finance, to the tax director, and to the minister, and asked if we would continue to honor the commitment of the former minister who granted a tax exemption for this project. So we went back and forth with the help of legal counsel and ended up upholding that concession that was given by Minister Sadang.
Andi aguro dire kam namin sa igil rogul communication esel tax exemption el blel sa ng Minister Sadang ni exempt ringi ra igel sugum may gal ludo kalek tay gal ludo de transmit ringi leng nga office ringi awal nga ikrel bela sa igil ose ay gaw do den transmit mo office ringi ndiakal tax igil yam lem so del sel ku gera Minister Sadang ay wala do gera sa igil leng agim la motru ra igel rogul la may rogul communication o sendia ka authority ra Minister of Finance authorize sa igil tax exemption mortal profit company el niya amrurtial solar gid mel al time hindi kal harawa al time hindi kal harawa tax esel bill ra PUC ya PUC ko pillar ada include ra tel tax el morar ada akum da say gid mo correct ngil hindi kal right maksedik tali president mo do nge akum da say gid mo address ring
Okay.
Sil wal lol kornya a director uzuil se el transition el mor seguid el arrangement tengle seguid el mol kornya ba isang zero rate tial supplier ngal IPP el mor PUC. So even though I guess in said el dirigal wasay ulgumang dimla ka zero rate say ulgum dimla ka zero rate sell supply dirigal charge ra PUC harar ngi nga credit ringi awol tel charge so revenue wise ma igidam dila se hindi ka impact ringi revenue wise hindi IPP subject tel more business profits tax so they do pay taxes on their income so kita pulang li
ya kakadi ngitro se ka pamluter man mongil masang en bolungila explanation en merkamam la 7 mil grang mo ise legi mo mesringin dia kal girel dia ka authority ra financial
exempt ringi tax. Segi del time rabolo. Oiga ngiam nosta taigal kloktel maran metmu. Mengkadam ni exempt ringi aigal klal metmu. Mergo metial aigal pilra PUC mendira kal dia ka PGST ringi lengka exempt. Musegi dia tiol ngi tro sebom nutun masangem subil mo ngil leng agim lame sage rogul la enviak. Actually game nga igel findings ra mitil mlora SP. Mlora SP la seka mo mes aiga ngalen dia katyang dia ka authority Minister of Finance exempted tial kumbali ra tax. Maktio wai sagi dia kasi mo tiol ngi tro seka mlutun mo ngil masang. De tiang agiri ra adra bulu. Tiang kumbali mengerger ra adra bulu dia kal giri exempted ngi ra tax al sum giri hara tax.
The Kongelo Bangame Vice Chair. So give mo mesri and we'll come back to you with an answer. Sula.
Lorgite, Mr. President, sesel gel allocation rawa mani gel best line item ra budget. Sesel domesta difference ra 2025 ma 2026 ngani additional about $12+ million. At sumun sebele kam justify gel best lobby sumber ngana Ministry of Finance. Agi ngara moringa owa redundancy ra uriora tang igang kukmat tu kubetsel lan items ngara omso lagi.
Ang finance mga officer president. For example, ang sel COFA Management Office. Tiang tablo madal ang aring trigger long sergi dra Washington DC like Jeff Farrow. Plus namo require to report to submit the mablo Abrigel, and we need somebody dedicated al manage tiel tokora akampakta. So siya mo mokte kar segi del lobbies. It still maintains the same amount that we've been funding it before, but what a little more permanent office. Cell G on the budget item ang nari silvestre officer cyber security. Kita mo say we need to give us misi itial urera da cyber security ng kadam la besa result traigal atakan la mergid. Yung nga qualified them not of them lame, we're ready to hire. So gumal di pas ra budget tagi sisibaran nalagyan mo pergi tertial area. Sel direct tokora planning, waiga luluko Senator Ramongasaw. We need reports. Other American amal sorry lang detail del plan, and so having a planning office el smisi isi del urora aklo tutren. Another kami tapora Ministry of Finance. Igel LBS ngaria anal Caleb, I'll let you answer those.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the first item, financial and economic intelligence unit, is the office where we are doing economic reporting. We are managing the relationships with the Asian Development Bank and the IMF and the World Bank in order to better receive service from these agencies. We find has been very helpful to have dedicated staff. Under former Minister Sadang's administration, I don't know if you remember Sally Teitong, she was providing this service for the minister. We have been providing these services for over the past 4 years, but we have been using our internal funds to fund these positions. So we're asking for a separate budget to fund this office, which is created by executive order, to do these activities. This office includes the economists. Two of them are behind me here. These are also the staff that support the economic advisory group, which is coming this this month and helps coordinate all the visits, including with the Senate and with the House, to talk about Palau's progress and what assistance and ideas that we have that they can help us try to develop further. So this unit, financial and economic intelligence, is the unit that provides these services. So we've asked for separate funding for these activities. The second item that we're requesting is for financial sector internships. If you recall, one of our hearings that we had last administration, we were talking about programs to help develop talent in the financial sector. We have been very successful in implementing this program. One of our interns is actually one of our new staff under the Financial and Economic Intelligence Unit. And we were able to manage 8 interns this time around, all of them which we have been working with and creating an interest in this program. We have established, with the help of Ministry of Education and Palau Community College, articulation programs for University of Hawaii through Palau Community College, and have worked with the East-West Center and University of Hawaii to create specific programs for our students when they go there to develop talent. We've also been working with the FIC and the FIU, with the National Development Bank and with commercial banks to also create opportunities for our people in these institutions, also to help with training initiatives to help develop our staff. This is a small contribution to this program. We would like to increase the number of people we recruit right out of university to come and experience working at the ministry or throughout the financial sector and develop future finance professionals for Palau. This is what this funding is for. We have been working on this program for over 3 years, developing the documents that define this program, and have been traveling, meeting with students in Taiwan, in Guam, and in Hawaii when we were at other meetings to discuss this program and find out what it'll take to bring these kids home and put them in jobs in the financial sector. So that's what we're requesting money for under financial sector internships. As you have noted, the financial audit is really behind. We are concluding FY22 and ready to start FY23. This is still not satisfactory. The U.S. government, through the compact, is very clear that we need to have current statements. A lot of the delay is not on our part. COVID and the change in auditors has really made it more difficult to complete audits on time. We can do more, and we are doing more by bringing in more talent and staff. We have 2 people now that have been doing reconciliations and assisting the director in getting the audit work done. The United States government has said they will help us, and we're looking at recruiting at least 2 more people. And I think it's about catching up with the audits, but it's also about improving our system so that we can modernize and provide more sophisticated services within the National Treasury. And that service I would like to also extend to the private sector and to other government agencies, because I think the level of accountancy in the market is very low. And I think this agency can help develop the accounting space. That includes taxpayers and other people that may need help with paying their taxes, setting up their accounting systems, finding auditors, that sort of thing. Of course, we do expect that this unit will work closely with the other agencies, such as the public auditor, to coordinate this type of work. The debt management unit, it's a part of the Fiscal Responsibility and Debt Management Act. We were able to create an executive order to create the unit under the Ministry of Finance. We've been able to get assistance from the IMF to develop debt policy and debt unit. a team of people throughout the ministry that get together to talk about debt strategy and these things that you were mentioning, Senator Mengasao. So these are the proposals that we have made to the president, and he has included them in this FY26 proposal.
I think we just want to add the LEC in the 2025 budget there was 400,000 for debt management. Yeah, so that was partly to buy the new debt management system. Now we need people to actually run the systems, and so sa ora moktek sulang.
Director Udiksel, Financial and Economic Intelligence Unit, can you please clarify us saying what's the purpose for that office? And number two, let me ask this so you can run through them. Sige, Section B, Financial and Economic Intelligence, roller tier, as opposed to FIU ma. Financial sector internships. Tiyan mo involve students or graduating students. How does that place hook as opposed to the job placement agency ra government? Sila under ako super minister. Sila internal audit and audit liaison. Senguk the program sila ministerials to do their own internal audits to comply with the independent auditors requirements. Material debt management unit. How do you again da kalngara at sila budget so you know it has to be forecasted before it commits, and then what when to authorize and appropriate. Again, I'm just asking if you see any redundancy, regal budget line items.
Thank you, Chairman. No redundancy that we see here. Debt management unit is something that we've never had, and we are creating so that we can better manage our debt. As a high-income country, debt is going to be in our future, whether we like it or not. So we need to be better at managing the type of debt. This unit is not just debt management, but also investment management. So we see a lot of support for a lot of the agencies that are starting to create their own investment funds. And this unit will provide that assistance. We already do have staff already working in this area. This money would allow him to us to pull the money from the existing bureaus where he is funded and fund him separately. And this is also a recommendation of our experts from the IMF that you need to really isolate this unit and let them focus on strategy and debt management. The financial sector program is a very specific program. We have other programs like the Scholarship Board in Palau, but they don't develop the type of talent that we're looking for in the Ministry of Finance. This program is for students who graduate from high school and from college, but we also are working on financial literacy in elementary school and high school and teaching kids personal finance as well as business skills that they can use even as interns in the high school, working with the tax office or the treasury, starting to get exposed to how it is to work and how to work in the Ministry of Finance. So that is a program that's not unique. When we went to Japan, we were saying we'd like to do a program for building business people in high school, and they said we do that in elementary school. So I mean, we have to start from somewhere. It's not a new program. It's something that a lot of ministries of finance do in different ways throughout the world. But this is the program that we've seen captures what we need to do in Palau to develop future talent. Many of our staff in the Ministry of Finance are much older. We need to start recruiting younger talent. So these will be the future 20, 30 years down the road for the ministry. And we need to continue to keep building talent. And whether they come to the Ministry of Finance or they go to a commercial bank or the FIC, FIU, NDBP, or one of the commercial banks, as long as they're contributing to development of our country. That's how I view this program. Financial and Economic Intelligence Unit is really an internal Ministry of Finance activity. We work closely with the FIC, with the FIU, with the Development Bank, and with the outside consultants. This year, the IMF will be coming down for Article 4. They'll be here sometime in November. Our unit, Financial and Economic Intelligence, works with them to schedule all of their meetings, to provide a lot of the documents that request before their visit, and coordinate other activities. That includes our economic symposium that we have every year in November. These are the people that put that symposium together. They provide a lot of the reports. They work with the youth to do programs such as the national budget exercise we had in the last symposium. So this unit provides those services for the ministry, as well as internal programs. When we have a program like public financial management, they provide the secretarial services for those committees within the ministry. We can provide you with a copy of the executive order that creates this. It does a few other things that are priority, like with the policy-based loan from the Asian Development Bank. This unit is the one that provides those services.
Director, Udigasan Section 6 of financial sector internships, and I know that you said a lot of your employees they're they need to go. Are you saying those financial sector internships? There are recruitment agency within the Ministry of Finance to phase out the existing employees, so they're within the system. Say question not only considered to the Ministry of Finance, but leadership or executive. So if you're doing this, assuming malung legal concept, MOF program, the Ministry of Finance a critical service of Lurbelau.
Thank you.
Expanding in more centralized waya school, Ministry of Education, hospital, blabulis, because everybody has to be treated the same, given the opportunities. Selective. I think that you see what I'm saying?
Yes. Sorry if I gave you that impression. This program is also developing like training programs for existing staff. So when we talk about building talent, it's also for existing staff who want to go back to school and get a higher degree, come back and take a higher position within the ministry. We do want to highlight that, we work with the other programs of government like Scholarship Board, PCC, Ministry of Education to help develop the specific program for our people. We're not environmental people, we're not infrastructure people. So we focus on special skills for our ministry, but we work with like Ministry of Education, who's doing the academy with Minister Matul, and they do the diving programs and those things. I mean, each ministry has their own development program, development opportunities. This program helps coordinate those activities within our ministry, and we approach it differently than other ministries, just because I think we're different. I mean, financial literacy is something that the whole country needs, so we work with Ministry of Education to develop the financial literacy program. If the other ministries would like our assistance with that, we can share our experience. But it's not a national program. It's just a ministry program to develop talent.
Ang malungila kanim Senator Rudim Silva saying ngaraman dekad expanding in Moragal Bebera ministry. I think what it comes down to every ministry has their own vision of how they develop capacity, how they help fill positions. So it really is up to the minister. And so tiang ministry decide wase tiga tretal se dalogi ungi kada smisi trial adan ngar alsela Ministry of Finance mat telmut telmadur awderir that's building capacity kada recruiter beselang ligedel tobra school me how do we involve them dolisira tel overall financial literacy. So I think what you see here Ministry of Finance amal detail wase agida allocate girelegang. So if the other ministries want to do a similar program, I think we should support it because we should all have capacity building within our budgets. Lengira del help upskiller or other that's and really the Ministry of Finance is the first to do it, and it's something that maybe we can begin for the other ministries. So we got put 100,000 in all the other ministries. Let's do it. Sula.
President ra Senate.
Ja, President takti wisin seg dangartil aigideng bralungil domisra finance komla expanding for the past few years director en kadamanglora finance ulgum til aigidel uldas president gu ngul morabla bulis it expand rabla bulis it give them opportunity to move forward kadamadangel wasen our ministers and ding ulgumar ministers gurro wadi mo ka kaleb uduil kukmal blagar ngura finance leng kadamral lamsa tel ministry of finance el wel mrana kom improve every now and then kadomisrar adam employer so way oblam expanding lil man bongil mo hopefully president dengul mura bla buliseng kadamral we need help for all the ministries mo possible del expanding engaging gel adra human resource Lawrence direct
Sulang President Paules sara amalungil kami terkawe so kalau ay sa elwase tial obis regidar Bureau Human Resource sa oriol lobanggela terogil public service system rataheyo ngaringi sa gidal service center ngar New Zealand talolagay ring elwaseng fale say arogul commissioner sa mawaya position nga kaladalo ngara alay kaluriora Pacific asabiir el mo amalay anyas wortir maigal mo merekal rak sera takoramlo mangitu kra Ministry of Justice kami madangi mlo batokangi mabatoka oversight mabatoka mlo amol telwasay kado spell build capacity al sela Ministry of Justice to ni segi del Bureau of Public Safety mang through tege del al el member ngi yakulangit tanges wortir matira sera last month at tinamit talabangala Ministry of Justice ma director alobata mga kalgiral segi del program segi del New Zealand fale amle connect regi del mura federal enforcement training center Washington DC mang tamaru resegi del gora program development program al mura blilabulis segi del center DC mom abi segi del mo program opangel say mo oral segi del program develop skills police officers direct logi usay morangi systematic way for the promoter other al sila blilabulis hindi ka based 3 years of experience hindi rin kalmorangi wase kung angaral training program kung ngoriyak kalmoragir ledital al sila Ministry of Justice and dital sel division of marine law ang ngi segi del ngileng ay kalbatrol bauter gidal lomaski da Australia require segi del training mangarngi akal tuk kalwase sel labol nga sa ebol seamen bol engineer bol ngarang girim lamma el course ra Australian Federal Police masabaril nga patrol boat mang selongit ulangit telwase sel bol ready a Ministry of Justice elame ang sutrir el adapter sa the program arti sulang
Sula President Paula sa kumbra sa sel lolgoria a director ase manuel mo 100,000 sa Ministry of Justice will implement the program lang to spare help so yes Sula nga lang I think the trial run na police academy direct na sa the run na police academy mong aiga tial capacity building nguilam identify sa aiga daw sa the lot of specifically more sa gidal to ko Sula
Bong. Tabagin Senator mo.
Sula chairman President malungil tasil sa kauma atigal agam tial gari gade kal ngara budget ngar segidil ngara wanda igel policy riders lem introduce especially president segidil tokora move ra procurement officership ra segidil bureau ra human resource el mora minister of finance nga katial loreng sra al dadu akora mamsang sel wisdom ra obisa presidente propose segidil amendment larulin mo tiyo biotre gal ministries al acquire employees especially our executive employees maria especially uk ministry of finance tegi del financial literacy di presidente akti soakal di dulia a point of concern na kal girel tilang aku mesringil wase tirgal tedel procurement officer sergi del ablu belau selgotel mering lurerir make sure ya omitel out why within the context of the law ase bakre na ke president si sel labora imal a political appointee a minister en kaled balel boring ase bakre ra awaseng kal minister kal procurement officer ase change ra avec change administration mong Vice President akumda sula sil sukum kadolyu dringil mura Ministry of Finance segid transfer ada kal issue gume seringa ngar segid lo sing mur imal la minister akumda sula sing aungil al bora a level ra directorship oreng mo ngel chibra supply guk ngara supplies acquisition segid
So,
point ra nga president sula
I think amle uldaso. Adim la kalwaseng minister procurement officer. Siya dim la kaluldaso. Uldaso ase sel position at the time HR amla ang minister of finance. Misal bora contractual services ang mlora ngel mle director HR. Mamle idea ase di the sigyatra director al sera finance the masang. That was the concept. But dim la ka intention lo ase political amo involved him sulang na. That's siya mo.
sula president sel omungiwe garing wal bora minister of finance
Okay. So change the language. Daka ministry. It's supposed to be ministry. Yeah. And amle ulda so sa kadamo discuss which director or chief, actually chief. Kada askara director Nada role di mora channel mandirigal di win. Those two. Yeah.
noting president lo ase a lot of these so-called services abay nga human resource employment mal magiging agel kora contractual services adi kal sal bulk sige dilo sula
Senator Mangsaw.
Sulay, Mr. President, sel foresight tragal mo maktuber sel officer gidra cyber security. Kamadenge gida chair cyber security. Yang nga nga bill pending ra second reading ra Senate. Mo maktuber sel office. Sera in its initial stage kadawa sa kadamo house ngira under ministry ra MPII. Le sera do mo we've been working closely with Stalin malungoy mawakon rather Ministry of Finance. Naniya kuk suggestion na kalik sa nga kalwase med elevator ngi el mora bureau mneuldas sa wase medbol bureau under a ministry MPII sil set handle at kora telecommunication ngani isel kora synergy gumesertial kora blam gat maklil lo basel official mo do under officer kaw ding gilamo o mesringil wase ngarigera mo kora appropriate luguk sergi mo daseng mo ngil laboringi digi malmalam nasula siya bol elevator level ringin mo say giving mal mongil mo kaniya director ringin o si sutame Mr. Presidente kablool malokol wase sel medol en rogul adrogo agiril matigol lobanggel tel dol mulway se presidente leng kadamdenge sel version na karalame ngil bati sel subsidy ra PUC sel 10 cents sel moradengi kada appreciate ra ko house le reinstate ringi Ma diyon tiga Mr. President since ang te alel sa edal adadu awase mo nga nga igel bebi ragi mom daswing social assistance el morar el gumdaso el altam at tamalospe lekada ngartial masadra mal klol sisbalela ma orulela geisa ergi drabulur belaw masisbelaw do del government disel bodo mese kadwa kada manglor tel government e dia kambal direct impact ringin mora ipengel adres tala ma tara sa edalo sparing it tagi del subsidy mo subsidize ra 10 cents ra up to 500 kilowatt digi mal momlom nasula sing ngaringa bebi ra te al sa edal direct taigal assistance el mora ipengir adres tal adam trigal guk tegal sa beril degal maklol kom balil si LPG ST register del guk ngar sa gidal teletal ma degal gi pa receipt tiril si il guk pamala refund ra ge klalo arabic sils sa bel guk ngaringa ge gidal guk te al te gidal ludo dolongoy tringira January 1st mo December 31st guk ngaringa bebi ringil si il guk realize at the end of the year to understand that bebi assistance mil katmok logya PGST but I think we can do more sa gida di ontigil wasya legor madami ngaringa gel bebi social assistance guk gibon propose please consider igel mo nga sera adam sel matigwa government tiya government ra lagar aden da government ma dolong nga sera tirigil tira malos pe angis iya malulbong ang comment terngagi chairman sula Mr. President.
Ya, sulangan mlebrigan persel issue ra dengi. Makamalong marar sel tokol wase sel dolong seu tigel got los pea ang yeso. So assistance should go to the ones that need it most. Ngari sel 480 mora retirees akum da so seba important than the 10 cents. Le 10 cents mora rogulat including kau. Mga kada by eliminate the sel 10 cents e by direct assistance and more tigel otros pe ang yeso. That's siya amle udasul girel siya. Ongero kita amla aling kita mo mga del pay raise and more other lower. Why say? There's a 10% increase across the board and more rogul other lower. So if we're giving them a 10% increase, ingana makadir ka subsidize sa dengirtir. Target terangyo sen mortiga los pe angyo. Oh, other all bila dim lang nung 10%, but everybody else got the 10%. So, awda so asing by close to tulel, mo awdo dul masaad, ingil decide lo asing rasel gotel important. Subsidize ra dengi and dekam help pringil mo conserve ra dengi. Kabay help pringil waste ra dengi. By help raad in different ways. So, I'm open to different social programs, but siya difference. In the house, of course, I'm not reinstating. Di say amle osinged adjustment ra dengi should be coming down. It's not going up. Mung sumral mero ra dengi engram kada continue subsidizing. Those maybe what we should be looking at water and sewer. Those are other areas that we can look at. Or sell low income, the raising him with a help bring lowest income earner. So say abay optional sa dromesary. So, katakain sa all daso. Okay, sulang.
Senator Tawalwan.
Saudi Chairman. Kote Presidente Wan Saura te ala se dengar te aswe se adu. Kote ontiga se yel performance report kung lagerin dia ka Ministry Education dia ka performance report ni. Sera supplemental budget yung larinya bebera Ministry di mlak. Makunit maso mga arinya bom sem floor din me. Ang representa diga ang 10% increase kauta din ng sa ni. Kasi marbe klav. O Presidenta di morar adang nga government. Tang lama tul $60. El atamo nga 10% ang government. Ngariya 2,229 ala belaw nga private sector. They're not getting a penny. Diak hale bok mereka peskaw. Saya tirga kita itu asyik tirga diak tirgal ngakalmen tamlarngi ya tak sa taksir other rogui, including na private sector. Ara labras tirga di sisiu mahir rogui. El almo 10% el mora arbek other na government, ma state, di private sector a zero. E kung kula sing $5 sa minimum wage tir dingel mo sois ba. E other 5, 25, adiak bolunga 10%. Si L525 for the next 5 years. Iti ang aralong. Maktirio si lakdo bes trigel af. They deserve ti alpay lengkeleder bek laaf. Dia ka government. Sige sokan ko takligirer adang private sector. They deserve some.
Sulang Senator Tabalwalan el-highlighter tilang lese mal ngar alel olbira kalulaw. Ay garugol minimum wage the propose so far ang mra executive branch. Hindi kami oba gis. Kung di propose rala al raise a minimum wage our private sector ya omera kluak signery. Mang di kita mdela sa al year ang mo $5 sa private sector. And you can include in the budget rasin so may about 550 we can do it next year. Ma tiya mal tingar imo mo. Mo kira budget elme excinery. Sul.
Akti clarify tiya sa tidal gangster minimum wage. Gangster tigal alam lama angari. Tiya across the board ang government mla angari. Adel minimum wage sama $6, ma $7, ma 10%. Ang private sector ada ang usay. They don't get penny tagil angari do sa dani. Tiso ang mga krisila say adong itu gra minimum wage and mo ringil adam et muratwa. Adang arba minimum wage sa kal do mo ringi. Tiso ang mga kasi do der bek adam ngeder melungos ringi asungos del mortir. Titedrik al harad si sul tax kita haraw.
Well, tilal malgorin al adal sel tugo Senator Tabalwan. Adal mil sugra 350, mingel mil sugra 375, al adal sugra 375 real al sils. Mo sendia. Lella adal aseng mo 425. Mo malgorin lo aset tastak trigel tira a restaurant den dingil ko trangario amas. No, tia sel mo si minimum wage en mas triga rogo ngarbe priden de kalsil di stop. Everybody else ngarbe prida giri lo mungkin maral morwap. Matial dol amral morwap. El mora rogula. So contrary to tial idea lo ase, for example, al suma adam sukra 525. Ikami pasra la lo aseng mo 550 minimum wage. Ngel ada de kal sel di mulmol sukra 525. Ngira al masa. And I'm sure ada lo urore engal atang arbitering yang raising and dimlang raise is not going to be happy. So in the private sector alsung lamas engel ngario pula kira el mas ante kasi el tiosisyo. And we see that igal income tax report maigal filing sulang.
Sorry President, nang suri ng sodel tilakti waisa siyang amaktir mo dura adalur. Makpatang tira algegedira nga Aududira tiagi dalam sisu melama menarak. Aku mungkin tidak ada yang sila kapal private sector waise. Aku mungkin dulu gilir tiagi dalam ada waise. Dia kal ar mari MOF minimum wage merbab itu gilir ngar bepri orang asa. Di moyor ada lu rur tegal gombali. Saya kita apalagi takla. Saya kita sangat mutakli sulang.
At the end of the day, Mral, ngel other owner sell shobai, that's their choice. But to stay competitive, they would have to raise a wage. Alag ngel employer amisin mo ratara kumbali. Usually that's what happens. So, kada encourage trigal employer lo ase, be responsible. Kita deka to set etc. salary ra each employee la trigal employer private sector. But al sumang nga waiseng unfortunate abay giril to sir kumbali mo taro kumbali if that's what's happening. Yeah.
Senator Mario.
President nga ka mutul ngo ikidel bakal morsel mle egerem nora Ministry of Finance at tial kora wal kora trainer adal kora mo ungil loror finance mangkita a direktor na sing tel probably pulis. Ako na sende ka dili kay give yang songs ara sensei mitang songs marnur mitang songs. Makum na setyan na mo da ko mes ringil di wa se ministry rilya nga klil. Ngal sugum til aw ngilo re mo mes ro lo bangkilar wa pisising ngarang klil education ngarang klil mo bolsab el rulin mo vergal mo ray ka ro guil adam. Bolsab el mran ngo suira sel ngel sang sel ablur belaw. Dahil ako address sa adra finance, address sa adra bulis sa Ministry of Education na direkal dimran mo diya ka adra ngi. Arnur sum direkal dimran mo diya ka. Ako mas mem telgibir mergia os mar sumungil a programa da telgibir mergi mora kumong ngaral al sumung tokora education and training edungul mora arwa PCC mil sibil maral rulil mora rogul adra government. Kadi kita soal mor segidleng kadwa ko adim le igigil tul ministry sa igel bebila direkal ko man so di soal eda igigil pol spedel ko pero ko sigidel mortir. So
Di ang amal kong ilo banggem floor leader. Allocate 100,000 naman each in ministry. Source of though the embrace I get foreign labor permit. Mal madel tekerim sula.
Hindi ako mnasen da 200,000 na president ako mnasen girel me detail cost tal program na seng mga ratrete len ki bamdul funder ngi igi mo nila sa tiang ngarang moruli mga tiduli sa igi de al sumungil program e dosi karole der lil mana lober kal marugula
Kamsulang Senator Mario Rectio ay salwa sa Ministry of Education na makataktang nga isa del cohort program tir ulang lahat kalsal mangrot funded by grants el altam ngan nga tul kakaro sel badang nga program tir nga isa del MOF tersel requirement tersel RPPL tenda story 2 nga isel mumalay associate's degree PCC mga nga yel mora a bachelor's program ra UOG and beyond mang malungi la program tira mal dirokol taw tringin me oror tertel program in muter lang held mga sisiu before ang ngisi the program ra nursing ang PCC hindi lang nga dire kan na mo tirel expander program al mora akakarosel talang tangil la tora held dal di nurse ma last week ang guk na niya agreement tara guk mo adara label mira obis el bolol nga serngil arawat tuition ringi ko ring kan tinin nga school orior so ang way say malungil ulda soldol nga sera roguil al obis ra amtel mo nga kay kita program tir sulang
Kaunda se Mr. President tiga issue sa igi dalgi malgoring. Still over Ministry of State and liguktia ka ako diplomatic section ringi no aseng more interns more dikto ra school to lang gadan nga diplomacy school. Ako concern tel lolgoring na financial sector internships. Away director of finance or minister of finance a recruiter selected ngalga Minister of Finance. And then from what I've heard, please correct me if I'm wrong. Sir Minister, Mr. Caleb Udoy, ang nari niya select students ng bawang termal betangal garal, lolo lobong game. Luwayable liaison na ADB, mara Minister of Finance. Mangari niya buffer kawa, way shield na IMF, WB, ADB, lobong treat regular interns, so-called interns, a filter information on material civil service employees. Truth be told, they felt that the three were blol mo sa sen mo aside. Kaya kawa control of three interns, dictate a policy based on quote unquote recommendations are experts from ADB, WB, IMF. Sa daw meeting lo bangala ADB, yung local tuk Ramis Alfonso was saying, I got policy changes that come from them. It comes from you or from the local leadership. And more ADB to ask for TAs and formalize legal policy decisions. Misal mga gagawin kong expert recommendations in May, I gam na filter through the ADB, and then Republic will allow my rest. I refer more expertise, of which lakmulakmul was in their nameless and faceless, and sometimes yung benda ka nga karingin. Tadik mo sa stakeholders ang not involved. Magibol ko ni Mr. President was it yang one section ra finance. Ang sumukom select ra interns on mortiang, idya ka Ministry of State, hospital maya. Ngaring iya siya placement, Mr. Almemi na super minister, ma wanda ra siya placement. Siya ngaring te alara government, where they tomes ara gungal gra school, advertise aga ragul opportunities, and may the best person apply, and may the best person be hired and qualified. I think that's the point, and that debate ra uldasun, lengungil uldasun. Adi dol goringi was engel equitable. a opportunity for all so they can see it. Man so mga nga opportunity, let anybody nga qualifications ring apply. Sige da, why you board centralize the recruitment, ngok tiya kadil board select per minister, misal swan. Aligan ministry at o term. Hindi at sumungil program, you make it standard, institutionalized. Lagi together with the government.
So, kami itong tial proposal a Ministry of Finance. Umralo sa seluk nidra Ministry of Finance. A Ministry of Finance samdangli it best. So they need to be able to run the program internally. Same thing in Atora Education. Same thing in Atora Blabulis. O di moda karogo yung tuming nga telel mo oit. But it comes down to resources. Alsum ka damda sa saying we cannot afford it, di ka afford it. Di nga ka, kasi, di ka dito stop ang Ministry of Finance. Let's do it in all the ministries. Allocate funding for capacity building, regular ministries, lang it's needed.
So, Mr. President, acknowledge na sa gagawin point del doloy, agad del expound der gagawin del idea, mansumungin na dalil mo tawasul, neutralize neutral. Ang objective view lo mes ang agad tialbulo sa trata qualified ang merit based del. Manbon nga telir. Akil drawlan mo ra Dr. Quarte.
Sulay chair kumdasueng global goal discussion and the budget. The suela Ministry of Finance ang iluldas. Serak Minister ang lang program ng Clela College of Health. Lo marura osisul toy. Le health adil tirgal tokta mar nurse mar adralap mar pharmacist. Ngel receptionist. Ngel procura klalo los pear wa Dr. Robert Lomot. Alakalo dinge ready malaka rule and also bela Dr. Robert tamo incompetent. Mak akmal understand ro sen also edel di blanket ederli a training girel ngania akora formalize el policy git. Hindi gal ministry girel magiging nga le trainer adel mo ater magil sector. Mak-understand ra debate, malwen discussion. Hindi ko Mr. President, lo say, alora la kong koraway al esk lo say the creator mechanism. Ebo say the ruli. Ito sigaw do the ruli. Because it is necessary. Akalit sa official sector, then kuk team level swing tingilul oiti. Masira ang last minister mo talalom grokri. It took 20 years to build. You cannot build in 4 years. So, kulitil was a mulmutraigal di certificate tra adam rulakal. That was part of the whole practice. Makulite chair was a idea ungil. Mabay med sigal do ule la derelin mo tarigel policy gil rogul ngarteng agree. Edo the supporting the siga el morarogul ministry. Sula.
Sulang yung Vice Quarter niya kung siya Mr. President tamang acknowledge sa mga acknowledge sa importance sa expansion at yan. Luldaso. Then, like you said, everybody's reaching a 60-year-old retirement age. Yeah, uring sa movement travel yung surya din 16, not yet a 65. Makada recruit ra young generation on maraming mo succeed ra civil service may legal positions ra balung. Alal other niya Dr. Quarte.
Ngayon director human director ako o sige Ministry of Health tirigel adal lola ba license ang kanya continuing medical education team. Alakal rule gira every year. Etelo sa license. Ay garogul agency girel moringi. Ngal dongok receptionist girel malaya hiyo agagidele customer service, Word, Excel, girogui. Girel nga niya continuing training moringi in order for her to maintain a job ringi an Excel pay level. Gira more say if we seriously masada tiyang gira del mo mangil I say so ako pa nito say chair may ngaida president tiyang ako mas kada namom ng issue may solve rin sulo
Yang sige dum namdongan sumungga nga niya mo ring tribal amendment to it and then nga niya consensus ra gid la sa kadosigra succession plan. Mr. Elwing halal mo sa Torsongino.
Sulat chairman malungil tasis mga presidente maradam. Kung lo tat sa tiyal 65 years old. Kung tas hindi rin malgida dal kura ada du oringiling. Everywhere we go ada di malgoringi. Makmal digim na finance ra idali sabi. Arura finance matam malgorngak. Kung tas yung ngila balungila explanation or regulation ra itzel Social Security ma civil service plan kung kasi nga 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 telel also makadamura 65. Yang ra ul makadamura ringi. Lesa nak explain ra ako ra uldaso kung ra ul makadamura ringi tirkal adan le askana kal mo 65 agilinga tial uldaso. Tirkal adra bela umdaso kung sa di mo ringi mo 65 bang dia kat sa retire 60. Ya umdaso ngira dal mo ko ngira dal ruli tiya mo ngil explainer ngil morar adra blut mutiang wangara telel sel 65 ka ngwat telang ya 60 ko kumala telang ya edirekal eder ngil mora ngani adar bulis edirekal mesakak masi mlutul reinstated kaldor year service ina ikaw la sulgira dal tool masi mamakara at adjustra program mo o sustainable let's say get 20 regime emo bulis 550 regime kamlang nga 30 year service. Can you retire at 50 years old? Akum dasin sa BL. If we chive the numbers, so let's say kumala 25% tial plan, hindi ka harat taksel tial tialududem mo laring harat taksel. Just give people an option, will make a decision girela ngal plan asorin mo ringi. If there's options in the plan and explaining madra blue, they will understand. Letra dire kan matanya kumasagala kada chance etamo kadam kodir tial planner kita baklaw. So we need to explain those detail and mar adrablu lukmo mo ngara tetele le adrablu mo talgi better tira o mesa 65 years old. Disel dia dula sa 65 e retire ad armari klink masenga kagire kal diuril mo 65 argi game retire.
Am sulang Senator Sungino kung daso agi del change tira sa retirement ta 65. Bagay se agi mo alara adalo real mo o kol me margil. Kada bay tiabay ruli mo mobiyo traga real mo 65. Hindi kal limit traga lo ase bomore at retire. Sel gimle maduro lo magila pension exactly tilayid. Kada mo ruli mang alsum ngari are sorry retire at 50, let's let them retire at 50. Hindi ngiral adjust ngal payment ngiral base ra years el more. And that's kind of a modified LD1 401k plan. You put in what you get.
You
get what you put in, sorry.
Ako na sa club tutorial sa gidal outreach and maradrablu to explain what they're gonna do before the pasral la. Lela ka bol understand the adrablu, they will always question or gidal tika dam das total 65. Dakal soli ran sa tukol detail. Wah dia ka dakal sa bekalorion mo 65, but they don't want to go to the detail. Mga outreach sa mga kumdas yung ready to top the explain tell system, they need to do that before we pass the law.
So, kadida bora history in 2014, kadam le mo bora retirement age mo 63. Mo se Senator Rudim, imam dor bakal ngin mo 60 by demand. Di adrablom na secure gidan mertiangal. Ultimately, we have to make decisions. Degal dil girir trial retirees, real alsils, material mo retire, material dirgam lo stat lawyer, and make sure that tial plan kita solvent. Mang kung ilo magem lo asing mral giran mrala education amrabalu. We did it in 2022. Maulala el goram dal olbira kululaw. 2 years ago, okri dim lakat aktri, ela kadal mal muter memot albangri. Yakura dibi klase kada 2028. Kada mo mereka igal 4 years etim lang aral darali. But ako lo ase we can, but we have to do it together. So sulang.
Yamal sulang yung presidente lang akong daso sige lang talaga dalawang dur tira 55 para Chris. Like talaga naman daw sa 16 talaga di trirak mo nga kama din na 5 years na. Hindi ako sige dal option ra understand ringi. I don't think they understand the cell option. Tik mo kaso mo 60 game. Retire, let's say for example, 60 game so retire mala 75% tra benefit raw. Ngora simple dadalin mo ra adan di at least nga nga option mo o nga kasabi retire 60. every year 5% increase sel obom 65 argim ngutal 100% the benefit. And this sell 60 argim sell 75% molangi ada tax ringi because of the help per system. Little things like that. Engal ada mo start to understand ko nga akrita ndik tirigal help per system lek malat ka tirigal digim le hire. Segi da girel mo rap tru ngal ada masanga kada digulat kerngak tiaun makmuru ringi malat kan gaya digim le start el adal tiro government mong. Ngora simple to ko hindi at least mo understand mo ang options ro ma'am.
Sula senatore kita mle proposing ra budget ring manlang to kakaroon sila bill mer amdala ulbira kalulaw. Almasada to kora pension, almasada to kora SS. Ulang ra budget kasi we need to do something. Like we continue to do nothing. Also mo kom to the statal broadcaster emrura separate bill. Ako bang gamiw? Ilanggiran maruulo. Okay? Sula.
And that note, Mr. President, kadali kalguangelo siya ungil dang batit unified budget madaruli liak lega support sa gidal effort matral ka address tiyan.
Adi question asing mre.
Yeah, mo say.
Mlamo erura kal dongil. Okay. Sige da dongi teri. Maro dile kita di gumesertia 20 million lakal sa dalmo.
Pension.
Yes.
Hindi SS sabi ya. Yes. Yeah. Sulang Mr.
20 million na SS, so we have to, pension.
A
Yes.
pension plan, why say?
Although every year the kamolari, emral mo, rep tabalyuri. So the sooner we do the reforms, the sooner we release the money. So, sulang.
Sulang Senator Basilius, wala wala.
Sulang Chairman. Presidente director kladong ilitasil sa kadam edek lokal ngartiang hindi do mi sertial budget ng ngari 2 million kami wa ngilulutungi sel $50 nun seora ara retirees magimre nga sule mun kirel sa igiteleng dire kalmalus paal sa ludo there all time hindi ngari tul gari dire kal base sel el 10% increase el give la salary and wage increase el 10%. Ageri girel siya wa sa mga tiale civil service plan reclassification ngari nga tal update ringi to really place people where their experience a schooler will be placed at the right level or pay scale.
Sula raungil kire Senator Basilius. Last time the update the adapt the classification system era public service system ang 2006 dirgak sera March 6 laringi ay gagawin meeting rakama may information or budget will request chair ways and means agiblen provide and digim la askaring ilwas kadabay meet magisma da ikal maungil makamo understand agi mo maskalis ten la adakal problem katakla magidirek kal share ay the recommendation algi la tegi the luasang gira the revisit the classification system ong rule time algiblem share ngi agim limit tra JGA with Chairman Nakamura April 1st OCC will information agim ngilan masterir ay gel recommendation ma'am direk kulul banggela at telgok I can report ng mamamura incoming administration I get el recommendation al regi the lomes sel laula sel National Public Service System Act del Title 33 ma Public Service System Rules and Regulations since 98 I get recommendation na malnga appropriate tel committee magidiol ngit tel wase albar nga te elio by mues kuk telo tel adul girel tilang letilang amral klo to telurior sulang
Malakoy ng klo tutelel domes ringir el all time al sumo ko nga sa ek teludo maran morba I'll be honest ng maldiak mind al bolten dala
a minimum wage. But if we don't place people at the appropriate area, yeah, ministry ding regel soal ra, hire ma pay scale, and the regel dia lungil la, ding suat say gidel bol, lagi dangil betisel civil service board, mungkin we need to at least tengar nga real manay ringi ato mo to tol ka try logger nga saying when and how soon can this be done in order so etlo mes ringi nga pay scale level
haladik talgiban makataklitil al-omologorngi lesel lahara aven di kalaka classification system ngaringi ekman limited say the other those pairing ilang mang ngaringi arokul lige rokul permanent positions sa public service classified egire the launches were other according to that scale ego ay selwasesel public service system rules and regulations part 15.4 say amsanga sem sanga klisi ella director el los isbiya rokul adra public service agiril so isbal nga step 1 ra pay level lang ngaringi il blada classifier ngi edi meski da klisi longos iya adel mora 5 al sumong modeng at sa edel recruit raat al mora position say al limit ra klisi ila director hindi kal sabel lang lakler say mang agi madengel waseng mlat chen sa blula adem na mogire de lo Mr. Tagi de Lurior mlarengi aurior el blel heatherengi minister udu in fact mlarengi a working committee el milgat mokal girel sayid seral minister lubangela IMF matulal to daigal recommendations certir el wase ay gagi dam la mogire de lomes compensation legadam la campers scale may gagi de rogul telang tangil nding klolurio regira del bekla del mornga I madarngi magmamamal dio agi vi madal mul girel sei de voltauta selurio girel terogi masaul
Kamsulang na clarification, kamsulang na ayos and maawais and kilel say. Ongerong
haladik so this 10% sel tara uli kada hindi kada the raise ringil by 75 cents or $60 ngel skill del ngel maria specialized del duri au do dela wal dimla kala ngasar sel giral masari mau uleng mau gia pasent te kadang ngasar rogula el helper sel IMF full experience compressed gedel decompress le ngaria radel ngaria skill certir gedel higher tir because kada restricted by civil service ang mo dakal sa higher tir sulang
Masulang President el direcra ungil lomso del say sel debora sel section 26 rabatset en kamem sodi sel disaster consistency fund ora mal
Thank you, Senator Basilios. We are working with many experts and partners to try to address climate change impacts on the islands. One of those challenges is not knowing when a disaster may happen and being able to react quickly. So this was one of the simple suggestions that we could make along those recommendations. Just putting a provision in the budget that can be used quickly. For instance, over the weekend we had that windstorm. If there was any small damage, it's not a disaster. So the president doesn't need to declare a disaster. But we could have used that money to address some of the little problems that could have happened, like at the airport, if something fell down and it was unsafe for passengers to enplane or deplane. We can use that money to quickly address that without declaring an emergency. So this is a more modern way of addressing some of the challenges with disasters as they are affecting us today with climate change. I spoke with the director of NEMO and was discussing this type of maybe low-lying fruit that we can use to address climate impacts. One of them is prepositioning contracts. So we don't need to go through procurement when there is a problem, and you can just choose the vendor to come and do the work. So these are examples of things that we can do to address ourselves the challenge of climate change while we're working on the bigger solutions that require a bigger response. One of the what we had negotiated with the United States was accessing the trust fund when there's a disaster. Again, that's a bigger source of funding, which requires a bigger action by the president to activate the use of that money. This smaller contingency line is just made for those quick remedies that we can do ourselves without having to draw on big money. So that's the purpose of that that budget line, and it's recommended as part of the overall strategy of addressing climate change.
Ako mesring mal kora akmay dal tu paragraph pa omso ding. El ngara al sel tella matogering yak mo setyang kadamala aringin mo reoccurring fund al mortial drive abe karak is it gonna be reoccurring fund for every year?
Yes, it's meant to be a simple budget line fund to every year. Whether we need it and use it, then we use it. If not, then it just lapses. Yeah. Kind of like revolving, but it's meant to lapse. Yeah.
Lubos Senate President. President Paulus.
In director ng dakal sa mo bra subject mo roy dakti onitan dakam gora di update tergider sel blidra New York ma update tergider wasing wang rat letele la harar ngi mangrar elang
Sel building na university ratungu yung one matela 2 million al blal silangari. So sel agreement ramgel sel gel redila gel owner ase after 10 years and still they pay interest after 10 years como el pay offering. Amle ul das wasel sumare se seru de go gel pay offering mala bol 10 years edil one time the halar 2 million. Mang awula last year mlaria mla sel budget el dul tobo do ase testat el pay down ertial el blider in New York.
dia aula gre the president al sumare audude de by the pay offering elang lela que continue for 10 years el de per tel el interest de la de pera al sumare audude de el al gide tel gora mal togado swad al brul mangrang dita the pay offering bal la de continue by way say gidelen by at the end of the 10 years el sal clolo do da blada spendering atia di ongit le gorgauma suman sebele da pe ngari audo de by bahar orang imbol mare
Dam sulang president moral why say sell interest sell loan alak al within 3%. 3.5 mangar babra 1% is an example. Mong tara sedro say ad retiring at the saber okay interest among it's not as high as 5 but ngara dron wala mang will suggestion president sulang.
Kalau Senator Talams.
Sula Chairman. Diabogu gergal gerela housing le kelol bira lola obaseklisi. Chairman awi semen saklo ase housing. E omagadong rangal mo mga dodo. Magu ay sara Mr. President kung diabogu sauda housing. Le kelol bil obaklisi loto de laudod. Hindi malungil arungul mesra raudura amang tel time gora dak Suez el metti albera Senate. Comme le dibuse Mr. Presidente el arincia isel sel el forum rarubul belau. Ya taragotem ne isul ul southern il challenge el mergit au spela makitalgar. Ral sel belau. Ya gomeso tel budget sel el budget el proposal ni Bureau of Public Safety ang ania increase ngira 2 million. Ang CBM low Isaac no sale 2 million il increase 2026 budget ang mo mururang ra. Mo address at kaya gidan magkita ka maluwang ra. Naramang na increase 2 million. O sisul time sale budget ra Office Attorney General. Adire na increase ng 700,000 increase ng 1.3 million. Ngara ko ra relation again mo ra. Kung ma-address at yan, issue ra makitil karal sa bangar ngayon, malubang rangor justification kirela galuto.
Hindi ako trulem sulang Senator Talams. Gida mun madangel wasya olspelam kitil karal sila blur belaw. Klol albanglev. Makbrang asula rubukol belan le conductor sel symposium. Lagi da umral wasya close to trila adi imol balloon masadar tial tokoy eda kay nga sira da sumlukut makli lende kal sel the government by itself it requires all of us unsa da moy tawdo dara a national el lomdoy sira bulis which we are el lomdoy sira adralla loltur adrabla kalbus which we are di sel bay gira del dirgal species sel wasem grado nga sadara ngalga malakal bori Magrada stopper sel di men. Este statara blay, statara a school. Elol sisa kartir bolakal albora igal tora in the first place. So nga kotulak man nga sulil mla appoint ra a minister mam naman a minister no kung maral wase we've given them dongo gida taramle cloud problem gida Attorney General's office we weren't able to pay enough for more adralla. Melar rakara October mlamu sel limit el sedel per adralla mlamu sedel increase salary adralla. Hopefully in sedel mlar tor adralla el mail help pergid legida dirgal sodel ngua message el mora blulo ase ali amot tutakla. Engare adalor tutakla mal mring la kalpsingel. Malaka borngi. Sia a message el tobdani. Mang kadamlisira officer Attorney General tor tutak. Kadamlisira bla police letriga them. But at the same time, nartia gal Senator Wicker tutawma Senator Fisher. And one of the things el dirigal malmol molonti del morablor amrigel wase agi dirigal digal sel digamam other belaw agi dirigal waspa ang sor other amrigel DA FBI me help program bertial el togram git el al serablor belaw. Egi dam dingel wase through igel tokol training egi dalam kadamna mosada me se tokol tirang rasinal me. Because we're trying different ways along the emertiakal nga sinan me. Emring egi dirang sodar tourist hindi tigal tourist me or takay kaklar we're hindi kasi dalo siya moda ka flight and merbelaw. We need the tourist. Ding gira den mo help brother blue mo understand ro say dire klomondal mera gid se dangar airport tom dob da bilir triala de do I mean to gaigel el babiel dire gam la mer gid ro say kami ngara mo como isera okya gid digida dire glo say di trigal bebir okya gid unfortunately to se ba klal malarang ligit kada kadangara igel rogol el dul edimel amlu to increase our budget mabla police additional. I mean, this is I'm sure a minister de stopper say. Eleng ding ngosiga iga rokulteal el nomdoy sir bulis di ko nombre ka academy dire kam lang sir outside and waiga lolo director nabayama apo si Crollo say grad increase our training so mal appreciate the suggestion of Senator Bolas so say dire kal increase our training rabla bulis so we welcome more help from Mabla Bulis.
Sula, Mr. Presidente, din dirham justify sel 2 million at mo spearingil hairar bulis malubeg mo rula training girira bulis build us.
Kada hairar bulis remember ngari sel 10% el increase en mora arugula del order ngarabla bulis. So yeah. Oh, masel direct bodo elal hopefully elal merek na umre kabila sel black albus kada mas pa additional other order sel sel black albus so sula
Senator Sangino.
Kung on the same note, Presidente, kanya may sige dire kasi tirga repeated offenders. Tadiri kalmo rayel ko atora, ngabardak mo sell 3 strikes and you're out. Kami hindi kasi irulala al kora. Tirga kanam tunamot tela to that mo edi mura rado sil to koy mang takura kay ngisel gire la altang la dire la dire kal kor orde kadar kita say lang tirga gidel pusa gal kalwa lidolo tadim dangal triar adra balut mutu ata ang kor ati del liganding onda sala dire kal gire la chastar ngidin sulang.
T-shirt tial ngaria imura toktangal mal sa lige adra Singapore. Edi lo na lo ase aulen de drug problem ra Singapore. Ngogo dalla at. Egida diriga the borsel point al sela blur beral ngogo dalla at. Dingira del mo understand lo ase trigala dro traiga claro. Amal mal la klangara ad mal la klangara. Close to trail tol bod understand real mal tamalla ma tomel tirar togol من كده الأدرى بلوها دقل جريد القومير تيال تريتال من مرايل من كلو تطلع دون سر البوليس لقد ما ضاقت ريبورتر تير دون سيمر تير you know دير قال ما بتقول كامبلين ترى بلو لو شيء من تريال البوليس مت مدغرين ما أدرى قصتهم مت مدغرين ما قاسيو give us evidence let's get rid of them we want to work with you لأن نسيت الدين ملقوا put the blame but قضى سبير بكل هذا الهلبر جدا اللي تيا البنغ هذا الروغوي بسهولة.
Mr. President, sel quadi footnote guk ngaring sel radal dong do term sa da setial drug problem na blur belau symptom ra awal deteriorating society. They're having a hard time to musiga te al maulum to maror emo maru dengan yan maror akal maror adallo malam mung dasar bugul bela de gamne tal tat sergi magadi mo aware ngi rogo daga ngi ser rogo la seng magrada identify mal root cause at kam tergibel dispeller cell demand kada ndi seda nga bachet mung
there's two ways of looking at it دي يقدر الدريق المهم دغلي سيلوران مبتقى ودودي رارات يجي tangara rom mora marijuana ila tangara ice aga ulakwak mangira mo understand ro ase as there's more money flowing in trigra dolor traiga klal am lames ase tiak klol magit el se klol tral el morning mon yes gira del help pra ngal gira mo understand ro ase you know kadon raul de swal ma gausi sa ma Facebook para forum endi sta tratto di monda el mogabsenge kida di dosada amonda e di dosada kantid ma kantila blu kada creatora amakitru das raul de swal adam te dom das sing di makita raul to kida yadru ktiom sada positive to mo hel prado mo ngila ul de swir ila temo siga relief leng te dom das so makit
من مسألة بتقعدوا ده لصالة مكنيت تمرا مكنيت أمين دقة دي بيت مستر بريزيدنت دي تياجي ده الغورني combination من دريك التلقو الغوري من دريك الأضرب له أما الغوري بعد ذو الغوري عشان دريك نيا وش بيتل مكنيت الكلال والململ را الأضرب له لسوري الملارا له it could be أضرب له نعتل ململ را نلقيه من كذا دقة دي بيت وسيتيان بتقعدوا ده مكساودوا ده the fact of the matter is تيان عم نهيترا نعلقهم إلا قد نبقى المرابط شيء ما question عمونا مستر إلوي كم break down sell FAA in dollars how much are the look to gain at 26 FY 2026 in dollars PGST sell unrestricted fund
Hali gisang.
Salam dali sa gito lo ura kadali kaldola balance sa cyclical reserve fund
modifier balance cyclical reserve fund by so kita project by FY25 and the year kada mlakalek about $36 million. Estimate on the same projection of the estimate lo say by Endra 26 kada mlakalek 41. A little bit over 40 per.
Ela take the increase the rate because take the increase the tourism numbers.
Yes, still a factor.
Right, and close factor. About the lateral percent of take the increase. Close, still team isolate the local before the overall by tourism numbers and they tend to urubelaw.
Kamlutel.
And so tourism as well quantifying katuk like numbers and maran may. Cover numbers is be pre-increase the tourism. Same lo artisan number velas and item tala al collector niya gukti local side prior to the increase of local revenue, tourism numbers.
Sebele term said mo sebele mo provide the number ng committee radimir el tam this was the wasay sir FY23 ikado misra numbers mle FY23 arrival numbers amle anyway ikado mo provide ding wasay
Okay, malati don tige Mr. Director anyway. Nariyan GRT mo niya pandemic mo your tourism ang nakutuk na number na local. Take out sa tourism factor. Mo niya 22, 23 pa sa PGST. Na kung nasa sa quantify sa difference sa number of tourism on may, isolate sa wala sige da sa dalmo mo dagni. Ya otrula la PGST ak masit yang ada mo mo hara ringi. So we want to see the cost burden ng other tial below. Ya hal wala kung mon mekil ralon mas center tawalan ang area. Question.
So, Presidente, te llama din mutro tigre koral girela education. Ako te Presidente sel cloud member sa ako te education convention omera about 5 years ago tumlara amayong sel time dire ang minister kan mo sa katamo increase ra budget ra ministry mo clowling girel mornya textbook ra rebelo balance studies. Tamle increase a budget tamle 300,000 no 700,000 el alchi se presidente tendría ka imol mo allowance studies textbook or pamphlet dia this is your time tel convention tel nomere sesbele al school etam lo all result trigger ogul content dimla imol content allowance studies lo otil wata kategori el gera allowance studies. That is sad. Asum ko other belau. Ya school bela dia lo deno se ko angara school bela ora om subel belau. Akmal winter presento se pomutu ri tian toy. Ya ka kum akmadelo se ko mara sen klotu tele. Gidan ngati omar se. Dia ka se la school belau dia ka textbook ri plan studies. Lang lira other school mo taktang. Ira time dia ndiri ka imon mo mokol. Ay ka nombre ka. Tuni tangis ri si sula.
Yeah, sulang akmal ko ngila bagyan. Geder gut makli.
At that note, Mr. President, tagdarekal ekora Dr. Jenkins, seral ngara hi public hearing direkal mamle amplify importance ra apalaw language es asset travel belaw mo. Bak doctor to say un makmulor sa number Mr. Elway. Self difference ra shall castle bodagen ringi. Team esal mo ko Mr. President. Nguk kanya demand ra reallocate tagagidal excess funds from the neutral revenue amount ra that was originally touted ra PGST. Making this wakal di footnote sa gidong kumumtang nila sing kodomes ra allocation of trial is a burden leng mal conflict information dola ako angat na to government tam sugraw do hindi other guk mo haraw ra tele warren sewer ang malimis sa total complaints sa gibram receive mang direct walor udra Mr. President na sangya the resolve ring namre at that time aral ma human right ang dakas kadra aral dakan men mal even suwer ngi labdur order mo ulak lol se ano self cyclical reserve fund Mr. Elwation tala cash balance ngi at time.
So sel cyclical reserve balance ringa 7.9 million. Say the sel base ra la kada reserve ra 2% ra unrestricted revenues.
Saying restricted 2% unrestricted revenue ngira daily adang at the end of the fiscal
At the end of the fiscal year. So sel FY25 en kadungo sel 2% ra FY24. Or sel after a fiscal year end kadungo sel unrestricted balance 2% sel revenue o mura cyclical.
Similar nga appropriation ng top ring malo kom letap pa nila alir.
So appropriation na nga nila every year, and then it's either the appropriation or the 2%, whichever is greater. Sige datang ulolya.
Sel 7.9 at 2024 FY. Similar beginning balance ra FY 2025 at 7.9 naman mutra lansin.
At nga as of July 31st to 7.9. Cyclical.
2% ra FY 2024 total.
No, this is cumulative. Yes.
Rawak ti FY 2025.
Siya current balance al time. Ega edaan. So kita na start at 21. O ko maral May. Mistegi de selway al balance ra cyclical.
Okay.
So every year nga ringa 2% tungo wal ngulon la cyclical fund.
Makyal 7.9 ang result ra 2% at times FY 2024 total unrestricted local revenue.
It's cumulative mang every year nga ringi. So it's about 1.2 million na every year. So 21 ang mula nga 1.2 and so on. Ano nga al balance nga 7.9.
Okay.
Yeah. Why say? And then kita dira close pera cyclical source ra bepira budget. Mga ringa ble minus ringi. May ga minus current balance 7.9.
Director request sige the mem breakdown ringi mal what kartuk man nga running balance. Amne talbas ko matuwa daswan ang dingungin ang nuto bis kita update the balance ra cyclical reserve fund then yes. Nga climate resilience nga ringa sel gukwan ra accounts magel balance of accounts al gumda se kom agit mok la gali garabang agel kom na submit magil amam lai
ay mal reported ra para deal. Yeah.
Lang southern sa snapshot mga the freezing at talsin si almost rin moving forward so we will all be on the same page.
I see.
Nga niya until present sa Senate.
The Milsadra PGST, so I want to make sure that we're on the same page. Ako tulule kita we gave a tax refund for everybody that's below 15,000. Idiri kalila tax refund for everybody below 30,000. I gave la alitigem la mala tax refund. And then ngari sel ngias el moral mo odala. Akma amna ya sera dra hausa ulta. Dolitro ase seguiran mal ngari. Dekal se edul ngumti seguidan ngias we se ngias mo help partir ma se lo mara dengir tir se help partir igel ya Kodonito se bol permanent la dito every year ukliga kadung bati mora supplemental mal area radra tegal retire sa dire karar ni gidlo se kada ya okay
sulang sige the note tragara PGST Mr. Elwen se man share central GDP velar el alta
Baita last year mga 340 million. Sel nominal, dekal real number, sel dasing nominal. Sel bora real nga 266 or.
Okay, based sa GDP, kung dire kalgongi ragal international legal institutions na sige the high income based sa GDP. Lang
Sel calculate GDP radra egal ligat total e divide nga population again. Malsum katangara 340 million na kung divide nila 17,000 na lahat, which is our latest census. Kadam sa kadra luil telail.
Diyan, gusto lang for that record lang. Kung mo kami siya 20,000 almost tel wage and salary ra private ma government sector kita lang mo sweldo dahil ta kami sa siya singro sa mga labi nga tel baru belaw. Oh, wag yung senator ba ulit senator Malay.
Sulang etsera ate eleg president ang akmalasmal di nga kal educator nga kara gired sel section 20 na budget bill tiya sel outside grants and development assistance kadilu wase April 15 mlaring ya submit a performance reports makna mo go through ni diak patigra report ra MPAI presidente tial section 20 sel wall blanket tel approval olbira kululaw girela outside grants ma development assistance tugunigal projects president SPL for information and other purposes such as monitoring and evaluation sa among mga listra a plan sel girela a compact CIP ma infrastructure maintenance fund Taiwan stimulus tial maran merak or well Taiwan stimulus sa calendar year so would be this year right o hindi ka kapiro hindi ka list di mo mesring say at sabi may kapire gigid and all other grants that has to do with the infrastructure sula presidente
Marigel request give them submit to Sir Gibram Marigel. Have they been approved? Give them approved. We can give you the list. I'll give them send them mo. They want to approve and they but yeah. Chabel.
Sulang presidente liga Marigel understanding na requirement ng Marigel they have to be submitted with technical information such as project development plans. But so sa among mga kapil sa gidel PDP na gidel expenditure wish list elmem wall record ra committee ra CIP sula.
President tangi ay kaya ko radio ngit mang direkal daurol lobangela house president maikal lontril girela infrastructural sumngari bebiray ge lontril spedel lo sper telu dra compactel lortob malakal lakadil ko last minute lortob del mebo lortob dra revena tele local revenue gid maluben sile sirikal funding den direkal kada safel girela ige well spedel malai ge gidel Ludodra compactal help by gal state. At tara ongite president a special auditor. Kabo mo mismo sumong sabi mal appoint traves special auditor appoint ngi a public auditor. Kamadang luaseng kamlar olbi de kada dila kal mel muter elan dire katal up to date tay kadurelel. Malklo millions of dollars sa bladong loyang de kal marugoy. En uspera excuse lo asen diakar adal gagidar adal na mokmedel luira mang kabo mo meserngi man sepele ma point trabesen malakda plol di I kay titrang le di da din ngariya problem rigidra igal audit igal state ma abebira agency ra government o inge acting re lang na mo 6 years sila acting diang namoptokor rakal acting le a chief justice ngirakil songam le appoint ngir sira bolakal appoint nga president o en appoint nga gidra la acting me lang dirga talurero update tay galurel di behind the mang suman sa elem appoint trabe sel other siga tartirgale besel ngalge de director galib udu yal sumania spel ngara finance matubdin ulmo malmre del momrek
Mr. President, kya information like sharing ira gal delay the audit reports. Kumamamnura kwaman na UNDP program. Ityang niya group auditors modong okle tumlo adra house ng tomnarsay. Abalong odo rogo yung Diyos issue excuse tir maguligar tir singalam synchronized and said community delay ay rogo. Except for Guam took the initiative update tabuk certin. So there are about 10 steps ahead. Ding ko mo question as Diyos issue excuse la blur belaw ma FSM agada kal for executive legal ng auditor. Hindi di excuse at di blame na Deloitte and Touche may independent what created television si tiadim na mo procurement officer lo sigara adal bolbida igal audit report on mang raise niya president la Senate en ulgo mong kodor tirak ra igeng ada kadasal mala idara igal figure central clarify mamamre nga sulo Mr. President na tel exchange it's a cordial exchange lang dakal adversarial no kumsulang na approach lang mo. Lang samaman mo understand the reasoning behind these numbers. We want to make a well-informed decision. Samaman to be well-informed, make the right decisions. Mandakal bolulu na pasala emedo digid malaya seguido saying tiam kita la mag tadi malmol mamru ngayon ma seguida gi monitoring sulara cooperation ro mo. Awla la del open. Sumundigan nga Mr. President. Okay, hindi seguida Mr. President kung sunang agil information on gibilam receive. Dan sumang nga akmara nga sudang maratean mo reach out to more adam malguk kaniya gi mo clarification. Igi di madada sa reach out to legong mam share information bagbo ba tal toy. Ito ngot mo kol girabalwa dia. Unda sa hiling gi dal adi marmara ulbon mak kawlan Moscow Mr. President kamar adam I get additional information, give you a note to clarify malamay. Sula, Mr. President.
Sula, ang lepto kay gel kakarousel request. Hopefully, our staff am lenote. Okay. Agi mlenote, magi mo send el mail din sumuni ang asong se please mo lusel me ibes kami. Di soal mutel tele president. Merenga sula rogol senators, chairman, vice chair, marbekal senators ra mleung chair. Kamama of course agi ngarse ela kada mal diga yuye to kum anytime ako mo mem kada ada do okay adang te government tergi to rogo im kada siga ay rogo tleta el se de lo yungi el maral sobak el triaraf mang tora drax gira dra adreseri mak man menga sulam senator telam seplagam katara budget rabla police pa increaseri Magada dingman lepto kay galungil report like debt management report, CIP report agi mo taselme mang sulang na teal ma hopefully ang hindi kadungin mo September 29 adang kadungin tara teal sulang
Sulang Mr. President meeting kita mirtiam markong sulang